Praise the Lord, everyone. Brother Roop here. Greetings from San Sebastian, Spain. We're here for 3 weeks. We came 2 weeks by boat where we didn't have internet access. That's why you haven't been seeing any videos of me lately. That might be good or bad. I don't know. but but 2 weeks by boat. Then we came to San Sebastian, Spain. It's in the Basque Country, northeastern part of Spain. It's very hilly and mountainous here. But we went by boat to Barcelona, took a train to San Sebastian, and we're here for 3 weeks. We've been here already 2 weeks, and I will give you my personal testimony. We planned this 2-month trip well in advance, and two or 3 days before the trip began, before we had the flight to Miami to catch our boat, my gums swelled up, my lower left side, and I went to the dentist, my local dentist, and it was an emergency. She looked at it. She said it's a problem of absorption. My body is attacking my tooth. Well, my teeth. Tooth 19, to be specific. So she said the tooth probably has to be pulled. But she recommended me go to an endodontist. So I called an appointment with an endodontist, and all they wanted to talk about was money. It'd be about $300 before you even see a treatment of any kind. $175 just to talk about it. So I says, well, okay, let me make an appointment. I told him, well, for 2 months I'm going to Spain, so we'll have to make it for April sometime. So my local dentist, knowing my trip was coming up, gave me antibiotics, a double dose, one for immediately, and then in case it came back later on. So I took the antibiotics, got on a ship, and 12 days on the boat. About 3 or 4 days in, my mouth started swelling up again, and so I kind of broke it myself and kind of washed out my mouth, hoping they'd buy me some time. And then it started swelling again. So I started on my last set of antibiotics. That would be enough to get me to Spain anyway. So I went to Spain with my gums all swelled up. So the next day after we got into Spain, first day we just rested because we had a long journey. Went to endodontist. She looked at me, charged me a $50 consultation fee, but she took x-rays and looked at it. She says, well, it's not really a case for me. You really need a gum specialist. And she just happened to know a good gum specialist just down the road. So he was fixing to close. She called. He was going to close in a little bit. So he said, well, put him in a cab and get him down here. I'll take a look at him. And so we called a cab, ran down there in a cab, and even though he was closing, he examined my mouth, took x-rays and examined it, and said, yeah, your body's attacking your tooth, the root of your tooth, and we have a treatment plan for that. So I says, great, treatment plan. Back in the States, they just want to pull the tooth, that's all they can come up with. So he had a treatment plan. He said he's going to cut my gums open from my teeth down to all the way to my jaw, spread out my gums and examine the tooth, the roots of the tooth. He said if the damage wasn't so bad, he can clean up the root, put a paste on it, and that paste would act like a sealant. And he said if the damage to the root was too bad, he'd have to amputate the root. And he said that would be okay because my other root, each tooth has two roots, my other root was very strong and thick. And he said it was very healthy. So he said, and I had already a root canal done on this tooth years ago. So there was no issue with the pain or anything like that. So he said that's the tooth doesn't need to come out. So he said if I want the tooth to come out, he'll pull it. But he said he asked if I wanted to save the tooth, and he as a dentist would always want to save teeth. So I says, yeah. So I told him, well, just go in and see what you see, and you make your best judgment to save the tooth. If you could put a sealant on it, that's fine. If you have to amputate the root, that's fine too. So he agreed, and he said it was going to be a 2-hour surgery, but it ended up being a 3-hour surgery. So he said the surgery would cost $450. So I was kind of shocked. Says, that's it? I was expecting, in the States, you'd spend that kind of money even before the surgery even began. The surgery itself would probably cost $2,000, $3,000, $4,000. Especially if it's a gum specialist. He would charge thousands of dollars. So I said, $450. I said, okay, go, let's do it. So he performed the operation. It took 3 hours. He said 2 hours, but it ended up 3 hours. He's cut my gums open, and he saw the root of the tooth was very healthy, so he grinded it a little bit and put the paste on. And so and he's pretty sure he saved the tooth. So they just examined it. It looks healthy, and next week they'll take the stitches out. They put several stitches in there. So it was a blessing for me to come to Spain and have this, have more options about keeping my tooth, and having it done very inexpensively. In the States, they just charge so much for everything. Any kind of dentistry or medical procedure is through the roof in its costs. And it's my opinion, and I think it's the opinion of other people, that any kind of dentistry work or medical field work is far more advanced in Europe than it is in the States. Now, in the States, you hear about how we have the greatest medical system in the world, and that's not true. So Europe has the best medical system in the world, and certainly the best dentistry in the world. And it's far cheaper here in Europe because our schools aren't pumping out lawyers by the tens of thousands every year. And we don't have lawyers suing for every little thing like we do in the States. And that's why healthcare costs so much in the States, is attorneys. People want to sue hospitals, sue doctors, and it just drives up the cost of medical treatment. Here in Europe, that's not the case. So any kind of dentistry or medical procedures are far, far, far cheaper here. So that's my testimony. Is I got to Spain with a medical emergency, and I had it taken care of very, very cheaply and expertly by expert gum specialist. He only charged me $400 for everything. So that's a blessing to me. Anyway, thank you, and greetings from San Sebastian, Spain. God bless you.